Sometimes the true agenda behind net zero slips out because these technocrats can't help themselves getting all giddy about what they're really doing. The latest example was discovered in a document first released last year by Deutsche Bank Research. The document reveals what the EU must do to achieve climate neutrality, net zero, by 2050. And guess what? It says they're going to have to impose an eco-tyranny dictatorship, but it's for the planet. So totalitarianism can be a good thing. Right? The document talks about the need to change the consumption habits of the ordinary citizen, even on minutiae such as how often you use electronic devices, and that, quote, climate policy comes in the form of higher taxes and fees on energy, which make heating and mobility more expensive. How you travel, how you heat your home, how much meat and even exotic fruit you eat will all be under scrutiny. Quote, if we really want to achieve climate neutrality, we need to change our behaviour in all these areas of life. That means that carbon prices will have to rise considerably in order to nudge people to change their behaviour. And here's the kicker. I know that eco-dictatorship is a nasty word, but we may have to ask ourselves the question whether and to what extent we may be willing to accept some kind of eco-dictatorship in the form of regulatory law in order to move towards climate neutrality. Eco-dictatorship. Right there in black and white. That's them admitting it. Eco-dictatorship. I don't really have to tell you what the word dictatorship means, do I? Remember what Stanley Johnson said about net zero.
And if that means actually some of us are told, well, you can't go on a plane, that's fine. That's part of the national plan.
Again, hidden in plain sight. It's all a massive con. They just want absolute technocratic control over your every activity. Shockingly, since people started drawing attention to this research paper, it's mysteriously crashed and no one can see it anymore. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. I'm sure the guy who wrote this paper, Eric Heyman, has been sufficiently reprimanded. Eric, don't tell them what we're actually planning to do. People might start waking up quicker. They might begin to realise the agenda and start doing something to resist it. Eric, we can't have that. It's no exaggeration to say that things are getting scary out there. The Biden administration has already printed more money in the past 2 years than the previous 100 years combined. The national debt just hit a record $30 trillion. And inflation is the highest we've seen since 1982. If you have retirement savings, your money could be at serious risk. They're basically burning your cash, torching your family's financial future. Are you going to let them destroy everything you've worked for? Or are you just going to sit back and become a victim of the deliberate decimation of your living standards? Are you just going to submit and eat the bugs? Don't do that. Or are you going to take positive action by safeguarding your economic security? Talk to my friends at Goldco to see how you can protect your retirement with gold and silver before it's too late. Go to paullikesgold.com and they'll give you $10,000 or more in free silver when you open a qualifying account. That's paullikesgold.com. You've seen how much I get demonetized. The best way of supporting me is by supporting my sponsor. So click the link in the description for paullikesgold.com.